Hello and welcome to Square Balloon Actions and Tutorials. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to even up the color of a paper background like this using the Quick Select tool. It's a tutorial for Photoshop CS. I'm going to use CS6 but it'll work for anything above CS3 because I'm going to be using the Quick Select tool. So here we are in Bridge. I'm just going to double click on the image here to open it in Adobe Camera Raw, and I have Adobe Camera Raw 7.3 here. But what I'm doing is going to be available in any of them. Okay, so we have our white balance here is as shot, and I did take a custom white balance, but because there was also natural light coming in, it was creating a little bit of a color cast from things that it was bouncing off, and it made it a little bit orange. So I'm just going to bring the temperature down of that. I'm also going to raise the exposure. I'm making sure that my clipping warnings are on up here, so I know that if I go too far I can see where it starts getting blown. So just raise the exposure just a little bit, and maybe the contrast, keep a little bit of the contrast, and I think that's fine there like that. Okay, so I'm happy with that, so we're just going to open the image. So we can see that it's a little bit darker up here and down here as well, and I quite like this color here, and I do want it, just for this particular thing, I do want it to be a similar color all the way around as I can get it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Quick Select tool, which we can see up here, and I've got plus on, and I'm just going to click on her, and I'm going to drag down like that. And you can use Alt if you want to just quickly change it to minus, and then Shift if you want to change it back to plus. Okay, and then once we've got that, we just go to Refine Edge, and we can see what our edge is going to look like. We can also paint on here to bring back a little bit more if we want to do that. That's kind of good if you've got hair that's a bit messier than this. This isn't so bad. Just if you wanted to bring in a little bit more, you can do that. So we're going to click OK. Now I don't want this completely white the way it is there. I'm not really that keen on that look, but I'm just going to make a little bit paler. I want to keep some of the shading that's there. So now we're going to just use, we're going to make an adjustment layer, and we're going to use curves. Now what we can do is, oh sorry, I just need to invert that, so Control I to invert that. So we can just move this top very right hand point all the way across, and it starts getting paler. I'm going to start raising the mid-tones, and I'm also going to start bringing up the shadow end of our curve here as well, and that'll just help even out the colors. We can probably just so you can see the way that's getting paler and paler. Maybe just bring a little bit back in. So once we have that, we can go back onto our layers, and we can see, if we flick it on and off, we can see what's happening and how much it's affected. So we can change the opacity of that if we want. If we feel like it's too bright, we can just change it. But I think that's fine. We still kept a little bit of detail around here. It doesn't look too cut out. If you want to make it a little bit, the blend a little bit smoother, you can always go with a black paintbrush set to 100% opacity, or lower if you want to fade it off more gradually. Let's see, we'll make it a little bit lower. And we can just click on the mask here, and nice big soft brush. We can just dab on there, and then that'll make our blend a little bit smoother. So apart from that, we can go close in, and we can see if there's anything that we need to change. Her skin is very good. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to use a spot healing tool just to make sure that I'm in the background here, just to get rid of that, and then maybe use the, let's see, eye define. So paint paint over the eyes with the eye define action. Make sure that the opacity is up to 100% again. Maybe along the lips and a little bit on the hair. So obviously the define can go anywhere on this. Now she doesn't need any skin smoothing, but if she did, let's see, I'll just go to skin smoothing, and you can just very gently go over my skin like that. I'm going to leave that scar there. Now I think she did have a bruise, which I think I will just try and get rid of that. So for a bruise or something like that, I would use the patch tool, and I would just take it and move it into another area that's on a similar plane. And yeah, I mean, I think she's fine apart from that. So there we have a way to make the background just a little bit more even, get rid of some of the shadows, and just brighten it up a little bit without affecting the model at all.